The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go 3 wide. No one will let them.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it?
Walker Thomas. Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2x2. The 65 gets the win.
Welcome, race fans, back to PTR TV for tonight's coverage of the Integrity Racing League. As we wind down the season and get ready for the championship round, we have 1 race in the way, 4 drivers that we have to take into Homestead. We got to eliminate 4 here tonight. It's the chopping block 250K presented by league driver and playoff driver Tom Wetmore here tonight in the desert, as we are under qualifying right now, but it is myself, Corey Silva, per usual in the booth, with my companion Evan Black and Joe Chris not behind with us in the scenes, not covered us behind the scenes tonight, but we'll be just fine. And Evan, we got 8 drivers here tonight that are looking to try to get into the final 4. We have, of course, Adam de Blasio already locked in, but it's going to be a very tough and very exciting race tonight.
Yeah, after 35 races, 4 drivers are going to lose their championship hopes here tonight, and one driver who is kind of in a must-win situation, Caleb Eisenhower, he is out there, and right now he is doing what he needs to do. He was fastest in practice and right now on the provisional pole, so that could shake things up quite a bit if Eisenhower does end up winning this race.
Yeah, we can bring you the point standings right now on the screen, and as you will see right now, Adam de Blasio locked in with a win earlier in this round. Jacob Fife up 15, Don Stevenson up 11, and Sam Nieto up 8. And then you have William Dunn down 8, and then well after that, I mean, as you said, Evan, it's pretty much a must-win. Eisenhower down 22. Not necessarily a mathematical win to advance, but obviously we do not have stage points or anything like that, so it's pretty much going to be all of his competitors would have to finish last. So I think all effectively he's going to have to win, and same case for Wetmore and de Blasio.
Yeah, Wetmore and Eric de Blasio is absolutely a must-win. Caleb Eisenhower pretty much is, but there is a possibility if Nieto and William Dunn crash out here early and he finishes second, he could point his way in.
And let's just say I was a little busy earlier today in the tech trailer, and you can see on the ticker that it is very easy to see who is in the playoffs. You'll see drivers who are not advanced and are still in the playoffs in red, and drivers who are already advanced and have their ticket to Miami in green. And well, the only driver that has that ability is, as we said, Adam de Blasio. So a minute left in qualifying right now, and I think everybody has turned their times at this point. We still have Sam Nieto perhaps just getting some extra practice in as the session does come to a close. So again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. No longer streamed on LSR, but we're excited to reactivate PTR TV, and not just for these next couple races of Integrity in our American Sim Racing Series. We are looking to expand into 2019 and have some plans and ideas for the future, so we are excited to bring that. As we said, we revitalize that channel. Simple for me to say, but we do have what appears to be about 15 seconds or so, now 10 seconds in the qualifying server, and we'll get these guys ready onto the starting grid here tonight. So Just a little bit of time left as it does click down, and there it is, and these drivers will get themselves assembled onto the front straightaway here at ISM Raceway, and well, here they are, so let's bring it to you. It's the PTR TV starting lineup here. On the pole with a lap time of 26.001 second is Caleb Eisenhower. Sam Nieto outside of the front row. We have Nick Ward in third, Don Stevenson in fourth. Adam de Blasio locked in to Miami already. He is in fifth. Eric de Blasio, his brothers de Blasio, rolling off in row number 3. And then Tom Wetmore, race sponsor, and Cody Smith in 8th.
And rolling off in the 9th position, we have the number 15 of Kyle Heyer. In 10th, we have the 65 of Chuck Sweeten, then 11th, William Dunn. 12th, Christopher Schetzler, then Marco Tomasini, Camilio Thompson, Alan Roll, and Guillermo Alvarez rolling off in 16th.
Stove Price Jr. in 17th, and Jason Miller in the 18th spot. Tyler Herr in 19th, and Jay Heisman in 20th. Michael Duell in 21st. Jacob Fife, he is locked in, but is very far back in 22nd. Lee Pierce and Finian Dunca. I believe it is right. If I got that wrong, Finian, I know you'll kill me. He's in 24th spot.
Then last car on the grid, we have the number 70 of Kent Weatherall.
Oh, if I had known that, I would have just said that one myself. But give a little bit of a shout out we want to give to two of our colleagues in the broadcast community, Kyle Heyer and Finian Dunca. They are from Sim TV, another channel that we are fond of and we work with them to help out each other in the broadcast world. So they have joined the race tonight, and we'll see how they can fare. As I said, Evan, it's going to be a very exciting race here, and very interesting to see how these bubbles are going to shake out with these guys. And of course, we're going to have to get one thing right that we may get confused on is, remember, in the real world, Phoenix was flip-flopped, so we might get the turns right, we might get the turns wrong. Obviously, a whole weekend of watching reality and seeing 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 be vice versa, so cut us a break on that.
So Caleb Eisenhower, who is pretty much in a must-win situation, he's doing exactly what he needs to do here right now. He's going to be rolling off on the pole. And then the guy that he would bump out if he were to win, it's going to be on his outside of 22 of Sam Nieto.
Yeah, and that's going to be how it's going to play out. We're going to see strategies go on. We're going to see drivers maybe taking 2, taking 4, using all of this Phoenix ISM Raceway, especially with the open dog leg, and just one quick pace lap that is already concluded. So here we are. We're about to get this race underway on what is the front stretch here, what is the back stretch in real life. Pace car is in, and we await for Eisenhower to get this race underway. And there it is, we're racing at ISM.
Pretty even start on the front row. It looks like Eisenhower is going to edge ahead down into turns number 1 and 2. Nieto back there in second, trying to hold on to that position is the 97 of Nick Ward underneath him. Almost going to clear, cutting that dogleg there down the back straightaway down into turn 3, and Ward is going to clear. Look at Adam de Blasio all the way down below that yellow line.
Now, a pre-race note that I was given on Adam de Blasio, you can see he already is advanced, and one thing with de Blasio is there is a rule in this league where if you do cause 2 cautions, it is a suspension for the next race. Apparently he has one to his name and does not want to obviously have any issues on that regard for Homestead and miss out the championship round. So he did say he's going to be taking it rather easy, and apparently he's taking that quite literally.
Yeah, Adam de Blasio all the way back there in the 22nd position now. And so he's just going to be taking it easy here, trying to not get caught up in anything or cause anything here tonight, as he does not need to do anything more in this race to advance to Homestead next week.
And it's just, that's something that will shake up the points. Obviously, him having 14 wins on this season, if he was to win this race, that opens up another opportunity for someone to get it on points. But if he obviously does not win this race, you have another playoff driver as Don Stevenson very high out of the groove in turn 2 there. If he doesn't win this race and another playoff driver does, as you kind of said, Evan, with Eisenhower, that will bump somebody else out who would currently be in on points.
Yeah, and right now Nick Ward running in second. He is not in the playoffs, so I'd say right behind him Sam Nieto. he's really going to be rooting for that 97 of Ward to get up there and try and get by Eisenhower, because if Eisenhower wins, Nieto is out. If Ward wins, Nieto still should be in.
And obviously here at ISM, it's a track that is very short. Lap times are pretty quick, and this race, if it does go green, is not going to be of much long duration. So these guys are going to have to make their moves and get to the front as quickly as possible. We're not sure how many yellow flags we're going to have tonight, but of course, being a short track, anything is possible, but we are getting pretty well spread out here. Everyone's getting into their own groove right now. Eisenhower out by about 0.6 of a second. Ward and Nieto are in close proximity for that second spot. And Eric de Blasio, he was suspended for Texas, so that put him in a must-win. He's rolling off fourth at Tom Wetmore race sponsor in the 5th spot.
De Blasio and Wetmore both are going to need to win this race to advance to the next round, and right now with them running 4th and 5th, they're going to need to get a few more spots if they want to contend for this win, but their lap times still are pretty good. About a 10th off of our leaders, but only a few hundred slower than second places, so not too far off.
Did see Nieto all the way down into the dogleg there, trying to cut the dogleg, get the position on Ward, not able to do so, Evan. We know at Phoenix that dogleg is open and it is available to cut in this configuration, but I'd have to imagine as the tires wear, it might be a little more sketchy to run down there.
Yeah, I ran a race here last night. It was a 156 lap race. I think it was in the afternoon though, so there is a little bit more grip out here for this race, but after 20-30 laps, you could cut it down a little bit, just like one lane below where there still is a little bit of banking, but you do not want to go 2 or 3 lanes down there. It's going to get really loose.
Yeah, there is a big banking transition, and of course, as the tires age and you're already struggling for grip, that big banking transition is not going to suit too well with that car. So going to have to watch out for that, and we'll have to watch out and see how the groove does progress, whether it moves up, especially in 3 and 4, what is now 1 and 2 in reality. You're going to watch that groove go up, and in many cases, Evan, you can even watch the groove go down the track as well.
Yeah, 3 and 4, you can run a lot of different lines there. You can run probably all the way up to the 3rd lane, and then all the way down to just below that yellow line. You can get all 4 tires there underneath that yellow line, and you can find a little bit of grip down there. It probably isn't as fast as running a little bit higher, but you definitely can go down there if you need to make some passes.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how that does shake out. And William Dunn in the 43, remember he is 8 points out of the bubble spot right now, so a good run is vital for him, and especially in relation to how other drivers are running. He has a bunch of cars right in front of him. He has the 18 machine of Cody Smith. He has Kyle Hare in the 15 machine, so he is right on that back bumper, but just not seeming to be able to make any moves, Evan. It is not easy to pass here at Phoenix. Very easy to run side by side and kind of hold true on both lines.
Well, it's really easy to pass someone if you can get to their outside, but passing on the inside, especially after 10-15 laps, it can be extremely hard to clear someone on that inside lane. But if you can get up to their outside by getting a good run out of turn 2 and maybe just stay up on the track when they cut the dog leg, and if you have a good enough of a run to be able to get to their outside quarter panel, you can pretty easily get by them just by pinching them down a little bit in 3 and 4.
Yeah, so the inside of the track just doesn't have that momentum when you really need to use all the racetrack up, get that momentum off the exit of the corner. It's not available to you when someone else is running up there, so that will, as Evan said, make that outside the preferred passing lane, the inside the preferred running groove, and we do have a battle going on for the 5th and 6th spot. That is Don Stevenson, that is Tom Wetmore. Stevenson will move into that 5th spot. Remember, he is pretty well locked in at this point, barring any kind of extenuating circumstances, so he is going to try to close in on Eric de Blasio. Remember, Eric 64 points out rather, needs that win, but doesn't appear to have the pace tonight. Caleb Eisenhower is starting to pull away.
But looking at our playoff standings, second place in points, Jacob 5. He's running back in 19th. He's starting 22nd, only plus 3 spots, and that's kind of concerning me a little bit. Only 15 points to good coming into this race, and how far he is behind Stevenson, Nieto, and Dunn. he could be out with where he's running.
And Evan, we haven't talked about Fife once tonight, and as you kind of just said, that is very concerning. He's running back there in 19th. He's running, I mean, in his own bubble, and we'll just pull up the lap times right now very quickly. He is on his last time by. He ran a 27.2, which in all honesty is right on pace with what they ran up front, but just does not have that track position. And in this short of a race, at a track this difficult to pass, he's not looking too pretty right now.
Yeah, right now with Eisenhower, if he were to win this race, Fife, I do believe, would be out of this championship 4 next week. If Eisenhower does not win, he should still be in.
Compared to
but
William,
right now, with how Eisenhower is running, it's a very high possibility for him to win.
Yeah, compared to William, compared to the bubble, which is 15 points, at this point, even over William Dunn, he still would be okay, but by a very small margin. But as you said, if another driver does perhaps win the race, that'll bump him out, as we do have some positions going on right now. We have some changing going about. Kyle Hayer in the 15 to the outside, and as you said, Evan, that is the passing opportunity, and I think he is trying to make that pass and bump William Dunn back a spot. See,
actually, it looks like
could be vice versa.
Dunn is passing him.
All right, yeah, we got it at the end of it, but you can see Hayer moving, or higher. I'm not sure. I'm probably getting it wrong.
Hayer's moving higher up the track.
He is, and in 1 and 2 / 3 and 4, depending how you want to look at it, he is maybe a little higher than you want to be. And then watch out, the 65, Chuck Sweeting really sending it on in there.
Looks like Dunn will take over that 7th position. And Hayer has both the 65 of Sweeting and the 18 of Smith right behind him. And I've heard some guys shifting here tonight, Corey.
Yeah.
Have you had any experience doing that, or you just like staying fourth?
I have not, but one thing I do want to do quickly is we did lose a NASCAR legend, David Pearson, here today, so I do want to do a silent lap 21. David Pearson, aged 83, second on the NASCAR all-time win list with 105 wins passing today. So brief tribute to one of the icons that made NASCAR what it is today. But as you said, Evan, with shifting, I'm not one to really go with that logic. It's for me, I did try it, and it does seem like it could work, but the finesse to not screw up, I'm not quite sure if that balances out with the time that you gain from it. So I wouldn't do it, but of course, I'm not the best driver out there, and I think a lot of these drivers are better than me.
Yeah, it kind of worked for me a little bit last time, but it looks like some drivers are doing it here tonight, and Nick Ward and Nieto are closing in on Eisenhower quite a bit. They were full 2/10 quicker than Eisenhower last time by.
And Eisenhower, connectivity issues. He was gone for about 5-6 seconds there, and that's concerning. Any much longer than that, he has a chance to get himself disconnected out of the race. So a circumstance out of his control, but could have dire circumstances. But as you said, Evan, the 97 and the 22, and that 22 is just all over the back bumper. Ward really wants to get by, but it's going to be a three-way battle for the lead in, well, probably this coming lap.
Nieto wants to get by Ward and Eisenhower to try and get up there and win this race to lock him into this next round, but looks like Eisenhower might be starting to pull away a little bit once again. It's up to just over about a half second, it looks like.
Well, slightly into the fence there. I think Eisenhower was on, Ward was in the dog leg there. We saw a little bit of damage from the onboard, but I will bring up the top 10 lap graphic. We'll see how these lap times are. And you can see a whole lot of red, a whole lot of playoff drivers. 6 of the 8 of them currently in the top 10, and that best lap did go to, actually it was Nieto.
About 100th of a second quicker than Eisenhower. He just needs to get by that 97 of Ward, which we've seen it's pretty tough to pass here at ISM, just the nature of this track and these cars. Here comes Nieto looking to the outside of Ward through turns number 1 and 2. Going to try and get the run out of the corner and do a crossover. Underneath him down the backstretch, going through the dogleg now, cutting it. Got a pretty good lead going into turn 3. He actually cleared him there. Not clear enough to slide up in front of him, but they're still side by side through 3 and 4.
Yeah, the 97 has the preferred defense line there, running the top of the racetrack, and Nieto is not going to have the momentum he does need, so they will fall back in a second, and this has allowed Eisenhower to go back out to about a 3/4 of a second lead.
And wreck on the front stretch.
Marco Tomasini, looks like Michael Duell in the 88. First caution of the race here on lap number 28. We'll go back onto the replay and try to figure out what happened. See, Duell is underneath 37 here through 3 and 4 with Guillermo Alvarez directly behind, and on the exit of the corner, looks like Duell.
Looks like he just lost the nose out of the corner.
Duell couldn't keep it down there, and
that's what makes it so hard to pass, is you do lose the nose on the exit of that corner. And it looks like Duell might be kind of unhappy with that 37 Tomasini.
Yeah, he went right up to the back bumper there, gave him a little tap saying, I don't appreciate that, but from what we understand, Evan, it didn't look like the 37 did much wrong there. Emotions run high here. When you're fighting for spots, it is so difficult. Every position means something, so guys are really into it, and we'll see if that has any further merit later in the race, but I do expect pit stops here as we approach lap number 30. Pit road will be a busy place.
After that long run, everyone was going to want 4 tires here. Looks like one driver's staying out, and Guillermo Alvarez in that 83 staying out, probably just to lead a lap here.
I'm not sure what the rest of the standings does present itself. If he has positions that he's trying to hold on to, does look like actually he is 3 points ahead of Jay Heisman for the 10th spot, so perhaps trying to do whatever he can to preserve the 9th spot in the standings. Obviously he cannot get 8 because that is out of reach with the playoff bonus, the playoff point restructure, so obviously there is stuff to fight for all throughout the field, especially this late in the season.
Issue for race leader Caleb Eisenhower. He's still on pit road. I don't know if he's fixing damage or if he had a penalty there.
That was a 38-second stop, and we know a speeding penalty would be 15, so that's even longer than that.
Must have just been getting damage fixed there, or under caution it would be an EOL for him, so maybe just staying on pit road to drop to the rear or getting damage fixed.
Yeah, could be a little bit of both. We don't have the exact telemetry, as does look like Alvarez did come to pit road, and Jay Heisman scored as your leader. Adam de Blasio, remember, he is locked in, just going for along for the ride tonight, but he just drove through the pits. He is on older tires in second. We'll see if he's going to choose to stay out there. I don't think that would go along with what his pre-race strategy was, to stay out there on older tires, but
yeah, but him and Heisman both just drove through pit road. It's kind of interesting that neither of them did stop in their pit stalls. Looks like they are going to be coming back down pit road here.
yeah, so they are coming down this time, as we may be getting the one to go, so should be getting the one to go actually, so that's a pretty interesting play call. Don't quite understand it, but I'm sure there is a method to the madness. Yep, these guys are getting one to go, and this is gonna certainly put these guys a lap down with the short pace laps here at Phoenix.
So Nick Ward in that 97 going to be back out front here with the 22 of Sam Nieto in second, Don Stevenson third, and it looks like Tom Wetmore will be up there in fourth.
Yeah, well, we gotta change the adage there, change the verbiage there, Evan. Not back out front. This is the first time that we've had another leader here tonight, so we know how much Nieto wants to be up front to guarantee that himself with that win. And we know he probably is faster than Ward based on what we saw, so we'll see how aggressive he is to try to take that lead from the second spot. And of course, Don Stevenson Anton Wetmore. Stevenson pretty much locked in. Wetmore needs that win, so we'll see what happens here on this first restart of the event. Here comes the pace car into pit road, and we'll await Ward to get this race underway. And there he goes, gets the jump, green flag back in the air.
Ward is going to clear that 22 of Sam Nieto down into turns number 1 and 2. A little bit of contact there from Stevenson and Nieto. It looks like they're through 1 and 2 as Nieto way up high through the dog leg. Stevenson behind him, staying in line for now, about a car length back, taking a look to the inside, not close enough for a dive. As Tom Wetmore is coming up to his outside, and he's on his outside. He had a good run there through 3 and 4, but not going to be able to hold it on exit.
Yeah, he cannot, and Dunn will go to the inside of the racetrack here at 1 and 2, try to pull door to door, but Stevenson right in front of him. Might be able to block both of them. Excuse me, off at 2. Here comes Wetmore all the way to the inside of the dog leg.
Wetmore trying to get these spots that he needs to win this race and lock himself into the championship for next week at Homestead. And right now, is Sam Nieto fine with riding there in second? Because right now, if Nick Ward was to win this race, Nieto should still advance.
Yeah, if Nieto has a second place effort here tonight, being he would be the highest finishing of any playoff driver, he would be in with relative ease. So, excuse me, my throat is just really bothering me right now. Nieto would be fine in the second spot. Obviously wants a win, but as long as he's the best of the rest, then not too much to frown about on that.
At this point, he just needs to be careful to not take himself out of this race. But he can't be too careful that Stevenson and Wetmore get by him. So if Wetmore was to go up there and win this race, I do believe Nieto would be out on points. So just a lot can change every single lap.
And of course, after the race, we will do our best, provided they are updated, to give you the final 4 that will be headed to Homestead next week. So hopefully that is available to us. But before the yellow earlier in the race, we were talking about Jacob Fife. Remember, he is 15 points up in second on the bubble, but he's only been running in the late teens, early 20s right now, and he's trying to get up there. He is trying to battle with Cody Smith. That is for the 17th spot now, as they do pass Jason Miller. But this is going to be the wild card, Evan, is if he does manage to only run in the 19s, 20, 21st position, he's going to be making a really tough situation for himself.
Yeah, because coming into this race, he is 15 points ahead of William Dunn, but he's currently running in the 18th position, William Dunn in 5th, so that is really close. He's still probably 2 points above that playoff bubble, but he does not want to be that close.
All it takes is Eisenhower to win this race, and
or Wetmore, or Eric Blasio.
And then have Fife run right there in that, right in the end of the field right there, and that could very well be the determining factor to keep him in or out. But I mean, the track may come to him as it goes on. He might learn something and pick up some time, might be able to pull off some strategies, so we'll see how that does shake out. But as we focus back on your leaders for the moment, you can see that Ward is leading still, but that 22, we know we get to see how much faster he is, but just hasn't found a way around.
It is, I think, a little bit easier to pass on these newer tires. You can run the inside lane a little bit more, but here comes Nieto with a huge run out of 4, taking a look to the inside down into turns number 1 and 2. Nick Ward running that higher lane, might be a little bit too high there actually, as Nieto is going to get a better run off the corner, going to cut that dog leg and should be able to clear him. And yes, he does, entering 3, new leader, 22 of Sam Nieto, but the 97 of Nick Ward is trying to come back.
Yeah, Nieto kind of washed up there in 3 and kind of made the 97 stop on the binders there to avoid contact. And obviously the Ward does not want to negatively influence the championship picture at all. So we're going to be really careful racing these guys. And he will sacrifice the lead and will not be able to put up a rebuttal. And we'll see how far ahead that 22 is able to drive. We know he is quick, but another quick driver, Evan, Don Stevenson, we've seen him up front many races. We've seen him win 3 races this season. As a matter of fact, he is in clean air in 3rd, so it's interesting to see if he can close in.
Stevenson pretty good on points coming into this race, plus 11, so he is pretty safe as long as one of those guys behind him does not win, but Vanel going on for 5th right now with 4th actually, with William Dunn right behind Tom Wetmore trying to get by him, and there's quite a few cars lined up behind him, including Caleb Eisenhower, who's now up to 7th.
I remember Eisenhower had whatever that issue was, whether it be penalty, fixing damage, what have you, put him all the way back in the field, but he's already drove through. He's ahead of Kyle Hare. He is closing in on Dunn, and Dunn not having the exact run he needed so far. He's 8 points out and just kind of seems to be running between 5th and 7th, and that's not going to get it done for him, or it may. It all depends how it shakes out, but 51, who needs this win, he needs it more than, definitely more than Dunn does. He's going to look to the inside, and 43 will shut the door, exiting turn 2.
Eisenhower just kind of, he needs to be patient here, but not super patient, because there's only a little over 100 laps to go here at this 1 mile track, so he doesn't have a whole lot of time, but he doesn't want to be too aggressive that he ends up actually costing himself a chance at the win.
And just as anyone who may be tuning in recently, driver
with contact there to Tom Wetmore, he slid way up the track, got really loose entering turn 1. Someone got into him, I think.
Try to go back quickly and see. We didn't quite see.
The 24 of Schetzler got into that 42 of Wetmore, and he went way up the track through 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, a little bit late there. I think we can get it from the rear view camera. You can see right here the Yoo-Hoo machine, a little Yoo-Hoo to the back bumper of Wetmore. Hey, I'm here, and there I go. I don't think that'll settle over too well. We'll see if Wetmore can get back to him. But what I was saying quickly before that happened was, if you tune into the Integrity Racing League, and usually there's a driver up front you'll see dominating these races, and if you're just tuning in, Adam de Blasio, he's locked in, but he is trying to avoid any issues, trying to avoid having any cautions caused, so he is just literally cruising and riding, already advanced to Miami, just putting the parachute up here tonight and running in 20th.
Yeah, he qualified up there in 5th, all the way back to the 20th now, and he's just been kind of just staying there and trying to not cause any issues here. And right now he's doing a pretty good job of that. He hasn't been caught up in anything or caused anything, just kind of riding back there in 20th.
And for someone like that, I mean, in the real world race here, well, if you're watching it live or if you're watching it in the past, the real world cutoff race at Phoenix in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, it was something, Evan, that they were talking about at the end. Kyle Busch was leading the race, and Eric Almirola really needed that win. That was his only shot, and it was actually said that maybe Kyle Busch should take it easy, let somebody else win. We know how hard it is for a racer to do that, and for de Blasio, this must be so painful, just kind of putting himself on cruise control tonight.
Yeah, but if he was to end up causing a wreck, he would not have a chance at the championship next week, so I think it's just something you got to do. Just ride back there in 20th or so, just try to not cause anything.
No, with Kyle Busch, he was not going to pass that up. He was going to take whatever chance he needed to win that race, regardless of if he had a positive factor that could have came out of it. But de Blasio taking the safe route. Who knows? Maybe he'll turn it into high gear later on if he feels safe in doing so. But a lot of activity going on here at the end of the top 10. You can see the Miller Lite machine, Stove Price Jr. He's right behind Tyler Herr. Herr is to the inside of Kyle Hare in the 15, exiting corner number 4 and heading down the front stretch.
Herr is a few laps down, 3 laps down exactly.
Whoa,
and
9 around.
Hard contact into the outside wall there.
That's Finney Anuka in the number 9 machine. Looks like he got turned there. So let's
that 14 just kind of ran up into his quarter panel a little bit there. I don't know if that was intentional or you just didn't know he was still up there.
Well, we'll take a look at it from the chopper cam. We're heading down the front straightaway, and yeah, that was contact on the straightaway. And that entire corner entry, he was just into the door of the 9 and sent him up the racetrack.
Yeah, and Finian couldn't have been much higher there.
Yeah, that was on the front straightaway. I mean, that was on the straightaway. You can't. They weren't even at the turning point, so really unsure of what caused that. But it does look like that is not terminal damage, as long as that thing's steering straight. Arrow's not too much of a concern here at Phoenix, well, ISM, excuse me. So he may be able to get that repaired enough to still be competitive.
After 23 laps there, I would assume most people would come down pit road here and get 4 tires and fuel. Pit road is open here, and yeah, it does look like everyone is coming down. That is on the lead lap.
And we expect 4 tires, 2 tires not predicting to work too well, so we'll see if indeed these guys go with 4, or if any strategy goes on. We maybe have some
14 of Stowe Price Jr. just got turned on pit road. Trying to see, is that the, I think the 28 might have got into him there.
He's backwards right now, and not usually where we see activity come about, but you can see 14, he's...
Yeah, it looks like the 14, he was going down pit road in the left lane.
And the 28
of Lear Pierce was trying to turn into a stall.
Yeah, he needed to make it into his pit stall. The 28, really not at much fault there, from what I can gather anyways. Again, we're not...
And the 14 was going a few miles an hour under pace speed there, so that's what allowed the 28 to catch up to him.
Again, we don't try to be biased here or anything, but you can see... I don't know where the 14's pit stall was in relation, but you can see Lee Pierce, he needed to go to the pits.
Looks like the 14's pit stall is about 5 in front of the 28's.
It usually is, and again, we're not pointing fingers, we're not making accusations. I mean, it is kind of a courtesy, in some cases it is a black and white rule, in some cases it's just a gentleman's rule that typically you run in the right lane on pit road till about 3 or 4 stalls before your pit stall, and then slowly turn to the left and merge into your stall. That way it is predictable for everybody and everyone can see their stall. But yeah, 14 was kind of in the turn in, turn out lane, the transition lane, and well, Pierce needed to transition lanes, and well, there it was.
And Don Stevenson actually missed his pit stall there, so he had to drive through pit road, and it's going to come back down here, and it's going to fall probably all the way back to around 22nd or 23rd.
Remember, he has an 11 point
for Stevenson,
buffer.
It was not intentional there. He did try to get into his pit stall, but just missed it. And instead of backing up, he just went ahead and drove through.
He has an 11-point buffer, so him being in the teens, late teens, early 20s, that could be enough to get him out of contention. Although, I mean, there still is 100 laps to go, so plenty of time for stuff to happen. But we're on 1 to go, so he's going to need to power through this pit stop and get caught up. And you can see de Blasio right behind him as well. Well, left side's up. Where are they at, Evan? Where's the pace car?
Just about to enter turn 3.
And Stevenson, does he have a penalty? He's stuck in his box right now. 7 seconds of extra time on pit road.
Could have been fixing damage, but he does not have time to do that as the pace car is in turns number 3 and 4 here. Nick Ward back out front. Pace car is in now, waiting for Ward to get this back underway. And we are back underway here at ISM, and I did not see the 47 behind this field.
Yeah, Steve, 47 is just now exiting. He's just now getting onto the front straightaway, and well, Ward is exiting too, so nearly half a lap down, but he is on to the lead lap. But remember, that puts him all the way back in 23rd with an 11-point buffer. That's going to make things nerve-wracking. He's going to need a caution. If this stays green, he's not going to be in a good situation. But once again, it's the 97 and the 22 up front. Actually, the 97 and the 51. I'm sorry. Eisenhower, he's back into the mix already. And here he is looking to the inside of the dogleg, but 97 goes all the way down there and blocks the opportunity.
Eisenhower took a look there, entering turn 3. Once again, taking a look through 3 and 4. Out of turn 4 here, Eisenhower is fighting for his playoff life here.
And I just heard it. We're on board with him, and you can just hear that high-pitched whine of that engine. He's in 3rd gear. Look at him looking to the outside of the racetrack right now. He gets it back into 4th, tries to get that run down through the dogleg, and we'll try to listen to what he does in 3 and 4. Looking to the outside. There's the downshift. And hard on the binder, hard on the throttle rather, and
He doesn't want to be hard on the binders there out of 4. That's generally not what you want to do.
yeah, we saw that in another race last week here at Phoenix. Someone was on the binders off 4. That didn't end very well, but yeah, and here he comes. He got a run off of 2 down the dog leg. We know how hard this is to the inside. He's going to put 4 wheels down on the apron, use that as the opportunity to slide up right in front of Ward. Ward's going to go for the crossover underneath him, back off of 4 down the front straightaway. It's going to be a drag race into 1.
Down into turns number 1 and 2, and Ward back underneath that 51 of Eisenhower. See both those drivers getting a little bit loose as they do the downshift, but it looks like Eisenhower is going to clear through the dog leg. So now, with Eisenhower's move to the lead there, I believe that would take out Don Stevenson with how far back he is.
And remember the other driver, Jacob Fife, he's back in 17th. Stevenson, he is in 22nd, and he has about 2.5 seconds to the next driver on track. So at this point, Evan, we're going to have Eisenhower in, and we very well could have Fife and Stevenson out right now. And I wish that we had the ability to give you the live point standings. It is actually a feature in the software. Unfortunately, I don't have it in. I don't know how to, but I wish we can give you these live updates, because this would be phenomenal to see how this does play out. But doing our best to give it to you manually here and see how it does shake out. You see Schetzler in the 24. He is closing in on these guys, Ward and Eisenhower in the top 3, and then right behind him, that's Sam Nieto. Remember, he was up there passing Ward earlier. He's in the 4th spot.
Yeah, according to my guesstimates, it looks like de Blasio, Fife, Nieto, and Dunn would be into the next round, so that would have Stevenson out. And right now, Stevenson, he's going to need a caution if he wants to gain enough spots to get back into this next round.
Yeah, Stevenson, he's back in the 22nd position. He has closed in on Kent Wetherell, so as he makes that pass attempt into corner number 3, we'll see how hard Wetherell does fight him, and that would put him into 21st, and then he has another second to Jay Heisman. Remember, Heisman pitted at the same time as him there, right on that last lap, but after you pass Heisman, you're going up 4 seconds to close in on the rest of the field.
Yeah, so Stevenson most definitely going to need a caution here if he does want to. He's going to need to probably gain about another 10 spots or so to try and get back ahead of William Dunn in points. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that does continue to play out here. And we're getting pretty close to halfway in this race. Probably another 15 laps or so.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, ask me what this would be. I want to say lap 78. I hate these awkward odd numbers. They always, oh, it's an even number.
Yeah, it should be 78.
Oh my God, I did math in my head properly. That was first time in my life. But so 78, and this is about 35 to 40 minutes of green flag racing if it does play out. And well, the green flag pit stops, we haven't seen one tonight, but I would have to imagine maybe about 80 laps would be that. So I would expect one more stop tonight, one way or another. But we'll see what condition that happens to fall under, as we do have some drivers closing in for a potential battle. That's Guillermo Alvarez trying to close in on Eric de Blasio in 7th. Remember, Eric was not at Texas by a penalty, which put him 64 points out, so he needs a win, and it's going to take some an interesting situation for that to happen, at least from what we see so far, as he is to the inside of Wetmore, who's in the 6th spot. And then here comes Alvarez right to the rear bumper of the 11.
Wetmore and Eric de Blasio there in 6th and 7th. Both drivers needing a win here tonight to advance. And, well, I don't think both of them can win tonight, as Eric de Blasio gets into the wall there out of 2.
Yeah, that obviously is not going to help causes out, but right to that back bumper of the 42 is the 11. He is not showing any patience right now. He wants to go, but Alvarez wants to go. The 3 of these drivers separated by what appears to be like a foot apiece. Using that higher line in 1 and 2 is the 11, and look at the momentum it gave him off of the corner. He's going to take that to the inside into the dogleg, and Wetmore is just going to say, go at it, have at it, and Alvarez tried to fill in the gap there. Wasn't quite enough space, didn't quite have the position, so he will fall behind Wetmore, but that was a close call.
Yeah, I think Wetmore was just trying to let Eric de Blasio go by, and Alvarez shoved his foot in there and said, I want by too, but he was not able to do that through 3 and 4, just running that inside line underneath the 42. He did not have enough front turn in that machine through the center and next to that corner.
Yeah, kind of going off your analogy, he put his foot in there, but the door closed on it pretty quickly, and luckily everyone was able to get through it cleanly, because Wetmore would not want a rear end into the fence right now. That will take any chance he has out of heading to Miami, but Alvarez is still trying to take advantage of that opportunity. Obviously, Alvarez was in the playoffs. He was knocked out in the prior round, so he's, as I said earlier, fighting for that 9th position. That is going to be the best he is going to be able to get. But every position does matter, and we'll go back a little bit further, let you know what's going on. You can see that is Chuck Sweeting. I think Evan, I'm pretty sure we've covered Chuck Sweeting in just about every single league we've broadcast on this channel, but he's...
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's made a start in pretty much every single league that we have broadcasted.
I'm not sure about the American Sim Racing Series, but I mean, for all
I believe he has. I think he has.
We'll have to double check the stats on that, but...
I'm going to go look.
You are, and you let us know, because I am curious, but... Whoa, the 11, if he wasn't in the fence, he was very close to it. Up 4 got loose, but here comes Sweeting, and that appears to be sponsorless in a very generic white machine, 65, closing in on Stove Price, who is also closing in on that battle. We were watching Kyle Heyer to the outside of the track, and here comes Stove Price to the inside of him, and the 37 of Marco Tomasini all the way to the top of the track. Might cause a little 3 wide off of 4, but everyone gets by just fine.
Sweeting has not made a start in ASRS. Trying to think of what other league he was in. I know I can think of one more apart from this one.
Yeah, I know.
I thought there was more though.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like we've just seen him so much. We used to cover the Hardline Racing League. He was in that. We obviously cover this, and as I said, I know for a fact there is another one, but we'll see as the laps tick away. And up front, it is about a half-second lead for Nick Ward.
Caleb Eisenhower actually out front with a half-second lead over Nick Ward. And the 3 wide, almost 3 wide behind them. But with Eisenhower out front here, that would, with where they're running currently, I believe that would knock out, go take a look, I believe it would knock out Stevenson, who is back in 20th right now. I think he is a little too far back there. And then William Dunn would be in, along with Adam Blasio, Jacob Fife, and Sam Nieto. So out would be Don Stevenson, Tom Wetmore, Eric de Blasio, and I think that would be it. So that's going to be very interesting to see how this does continue to play out, as we are at the halfway lap now.
But here we are, lap number 78, and up front it is about a 1 second lead or so, and then we have Nieto and Dunn, close proximity. We go through the field. It is pretty well spread out at this point, so we're going to take this opportunity at halfway to give you a quick through the field. And up front, as we said, it is Caleb Eisenhower leading the race. We have Nick Ward in second, Christopher Schetzler in third, Sam Nieto in fourth, William Dunn running in fifth, Eric de Blasio in sixth, Tom Wetmore in seventh, and Guillermo Alvarez running in eighth.
And running in that ninth position, we have the number 14 of Stove Price Jr. In 10th, we have the number 15 of Kyle Heyer. In 11th, the 65 Chuck Sweeting, who is now in 10th, getting by that 15. And then 12th, we have Cody Smith. 13th, we have Jacob Fife, who is moving up through the field now. Emilio Thompson in 14th, Lee Pierce in 15th, and Alan Roll in 16th.
And Adam de Blasio, remember, he's locked in, just cruising, trying to stay out of trouble. He's in 17th. Jason Miller in 18th. Finian Dunca in 19th. And Don Stevenson, remember, he's trying to get back up there. He's in 20th. Jay Heisman in 21st. Kent Weather in 22nd. Tyler Herr in 23rd. Marco Tomasini 24th. And then Michael Duell in 25th, multiple laps down. So that is your field here just past halfway. We're going to step aside and go for a brief side-by-side break and be right back with you. So please stay with us here on PTR TV.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. That was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh.
Back here on PTR TV, it is the Chopping Block 250 presented by League driver Tom Wetmore here tonight at ISM Raceway. It is the final race to decide who will be fighting for a championship next week at Homestead Miami, live here on PTR TV. So, well, Tom Wetmore, as we said, race sponsor here tonight. Where is he running? He is running into the 8th spot, and where he is in points, that is not going to... Evan, I know you don't like to say, he's not going to cut the mustard. He's 31 points out. He needs a better finish than that, and he's in a gaggle right now. He's underneath Chuck Sweeting, and Tyler Herr off the pace in 23rd is right there as well as Stove Price.
Yeah, Wetmore dropping back through the field now as Sweeting does clear him for that spot, and Alvarez trying to get underneath him now, taking him to the inside through turns number 1 and 2. Alvarez diving off into that corner, and he's actually might be able to clear him here out of turn 2. Not quite. He lost a little speed there, late exit, and that's going to allow the 42 to stay right on his door through turns number 3 and 4 now. Still don't think Alvarez is going to be able to clear. He does now, but Wetmore actually not going to be able to fight back there, so good move there by Alvarez.
And see the 11 of Kyle Harrod, Sim TV Camry. He's right in front of the 18 of Cody Smith right now, and Kyle started in 9th. He's back to 11th, and you can see Jacob Fife. We haven't talked about him in a positive way. He's been running early, 19th, 20th, 21st all race, but he's finally now showing some stuff. He is in the 12th position, trying to pass there for that 11th spot. He will do so on the outside, so said earlier, maybe that 36 just needed to get the rhythm here at ISM, and seems to be getting it here as the race does come to a close. And here he comes trying to go 2 for 1. He's going to go to the outside of Wetmore.
Jacob Fife trying to get up into that top 10 through turns number 3 and 4. He's going to clear him, but Fife got really loose there on entry.
And the 15
still going to hang on to that 10 spot.
15 was all the way down there onto the dog leg, and we're going to go a little bit further up. We're going to see a battle going on at Stove Price, who He's, I mean, he had that incident earlier in the race with the 28 on pit road, and I can't remember who the other driver was, but he is showing some speed. He's in the 6th spot now. There's a 3 wide here through the dog leg as they head into 3. Her is off the lead lap, but that's Eric de Blasio, playoff driver, and Stove Price will clear him as Eric de Blasio, he will lose some spots on the outside. Here comes Chuck Sweeting to the inside.
Eric de Blasio only lost 1 spot there as the 19 is a lap down, but here comes Sweeting trying to get by the 11, and Alvarez getting by Sweeting now. Sweeting got a little bit stacked up there through turns number 1 and 2, lost all his momentum, so that's going to allow Alvarez to get by him, and now Alvarez taking a look underneath that 11 of Eric de Blasio, and not quite going to get a good enough run through 3 and 4 as here comes Sweeting fighting back.
Yeah, so I thought I heard Sweeting shifting, but the telemetry said otherwise. It may have been Guillermo Alvarez to the inside, but this is some exciting, hectic racing here at Phoenix. Into the fence is Sweeting. He clips Alvarez. He goes around in the dog leg, and that's going to bring out a caution.
Not too much damage on either of those vehicles. I think Sweeting did get the worst end of that, though. So he got up into the wall and then bounced off it and into the right rear of Alvarez, but
yeah,
Alvarez really didn't get much damage from that.
And he lucked out, Alvarez did. He got clipped in the right rear, and luckily just not with enough momentum to send him headfirst into the outside wall. And as with Sweeting, he just kind of pancaked the outside wall just a little bit, and that little bit of contact with Alvarez, so I think he should be fine with that little bit of damage, and hopefully he can get it fixed. But this is going to set up what could be the final stops, but there's still going to be about 56 laps to go. There could be more pit stops on other cautions, but this should set them up very easily, Evan, to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, they will be good on fuel from here on out. They can probably go about 75 to 80 laps or so, and it's only going to be right now a 60 lap run to the end. So they will be able to make it to the end of the race on fuel after this pit stop here.
So we'll see what happens and who is able to win the race off pit road, as we do have, can't tell if that's drivers a lap down or what. There are a couple drivers behind the pace car. Looks like Adam de Blasio once again just drives through pit road and decides that he does not like that blue cone, but
rest in peace, blue cone.
And there are plenty of drivers. Kyle Hare, I don't know if we missed something with him, but he's in wave around position right now. We may have missed something, or it caused him to lose positions. He was running there in about the 10th or so position, but it's like he's going for a wave around now. Something happened that we didn't catch, but
looks like he just came to pit road, assuming he made his green flag pit stop for the race. That would put him to the end on fuel.
Yeah, well, maybe he thought this race was going to have a green flag flare, and well, as we saw, that was not the case. So it puts us in the position where he's going to need a wave around, as will Tom Wetmore, it appears, as well.
The good thing for Hire there is he was on pit road right when the caution came out, so he has no laps on his tires. He just lost all the track position that he had.
Yeah, he was mid-pack, so maybe lost about 8 or 9 spots in the process. And his Sim TV partner Finian Duca, remember, he got turned by, I want to say it was the 14, if memory serves. I'm not quite positive on that, but remember, he had some damage and he's running in 21st. Looks like he's back in the pits trying to get some of that repaired as well. So it looks like the Sim TV guys will be working at the back of the pack together.
Finian, it looks like it's going to be beating Kyle here.
Yeah, and Finian getting as much damage repaired as possible as the pace car hits the start finish, and the lights are out. So there goes Kyle, there goes Tom Wetmore, and there goes Marco Tomasini, who, announced to all, is on the lead lap in that modified that he is driving. Hardy's modified, I'm going to call it, but up front, it is Nick Ward leading this race. Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, Nick Ward is leading with Eisenhower in second, Nieto third, and Schetzler in
I
fourth.
couldn't quite tell if it was Eisenhower trying to take the outside, but it is Nick Ward who will control the race from the inside, and we know how much Nieto wants that win, how fast he is, and that 24, he's not the fastest car, but he's been in positions to have to make some moves, having good track position, so we'll see what he can do, as Eisenhower is going to really want to get a good start. He's been struggling to get around the 97 all race long. Pace car is in, and we are back racing it again. Huge jump to the 97, and Eisenhower may lose second.
Nieto was underneath Eisenhower entering turn 1, but Eisenhower dove it down into that corner and actually got a really good run and pulling underneath Nick Ward now for the lead. Cutting that dogleg really hard there and clears him entering 3. Not close enough to slide up in front of him through 3 and 4, but he's going to clear him now, and Eisenhower back to the lead.
They both sent it there into 3, and obviously going to the 51, but Ward not done. He's going to try to get a crossover and try to get back by him. He's going to take the inside lane at 1 and 2 to no avail, and Eisenhower, he's been up front for a good portion of this race, lost the lead for a while, but led 63 laps thus far, and that number will start to tally up as he is in the lead. Nick Ward in second. Nieto has, off of 4. Close call with the 14 and the 43. They nearly doored each other into the fence there, just barely stayed off each other. And
just behind them, the 36 of Jacob 5 running back there in 7th.
Yeah, where did he come from?
Was he just playing it safe for those first 100, or actually the first 80 laps or so, and then now just starting to move up through the field, and right now he should advance to the next round.
Yeah, he's the guy playing pool, says he's not good at it, to try to get everyone to bet, and there he goes and just tries to beat them all at the end. So he's playing a little bit of a hustle game, but he's getting up there. He's going for a 6th position here underneath William Dunn. And let's see if he can send it off in there and clear for the 6th spot. He will do so. So he'll set his sights on Stove Price, who is setting his sights on the number 24 of Schetzler.
Right now, the 4 championship drivers, I do believe, would be Adam de Blasio, Caleb Eisenhower, Jacob Fife, and Sam Nieto. But a lot can change here in 53 laps.
And Stove Price and the 24, they're still side by side through the dogleg into 3. Schetzler's running that bottom of the racetrack. We know how difficult it is to hold ground down there. They're going to exit corner number 4, still door to door, and then Fife behind this, as we do have a battle for second. Nieto and Ward. Nieto, he is desperate to get by Ward. I think he would have something for Eisenhower. He's going to cut the dogleg all the way to the inside. Can he clear? No, he cannot.
Going through 3 and 4, 22 Nieto trying to clear, sliding up the track a little bit there. Almost into the door of that 97, but out of turn 4, they're going to be dead even down the front stretch. And that 22, he's definitely faster, but just cannot find a way to clear him. And it's going to be really close here out of turn 2. I almost called that turn 4. Out of turn 2 there. And still, once again, not going to be able to clear.
How long does he play 97? He needs...
Well, he doesn't want to risk anything, because right now he would be in.
I guess we call it the Jimmy Johnson syndrome. He's in on points, but you want the win. So yeah, it's just a balancing act of not doing anything
and
stupid.
And there goes Nick Ward driving in a little bit too deep into that corner, and that is going to give Nieto the spot.
So that takes away any necessity for him to have to take that spot the hard way. He's going to pass it due to the mistake by Ward, and he now has 1 second in between him and Eisenhower. And remember, Nieto doesn't need the win. Obviously, it would be nice, but Eisenhower does need that win. So if indeed Nieto is able to close in, that number 51 machine is going to get very wide and very aggressive to hold on to that win.
Nieto, he has he led a lap, Corey?
Oh, we'll cue the duck. In the words of Benny Parsons, he has led 13 laps tonight.
Assuming there is a bonus point for leading a lap, it looks like Nieto will need to finish 2 or 3 spots ahead of Stevenson if Eisenhower wins to still advance.
Evan, I am absolutely floored that you are going that in-depth with the calculations, because my brain would have fried by now. But look at the battle going on for third, because Ward now has a whole gaggle of vehicles behind him. Still
three cars there, all trying to get by him.
And then look at soon behind that is he is dragging some other vehicles into it too. William Dunn and a couple of drivers behind him, but Schetzler trying to use the outside of the track in 1 and 2, trying to get some momentum built up through the dogleg, seeing if he can get to the outside of Price. Entering 3, will not be able to do so. So you can see they're all moving up the track into that second, third groove, trying to cut low and get that run that'll send them down the front straightaway. And you can see Jacob Fife just lurking behind all of this.
Fife now into that 6th position, and it looks like he is a little bit quicker than a few of the guys in front of him. Not sure if that is because the 97 is kind of holding them up, or if Fife just is that much quicker than all of them as he's taking a look at underneath that 24, diving it down in there through the center of 3 and 4, and not going to be able to keep that speed up on corner exit, and it's going to allow the 24 to get back by.
Yeah, he took a stab at it, but obviously, as we said, the low side of the track, not where you want to be, and you're curious up front. Nieto and Eisenhower seem to be pretty much just exchanging laps. One time one will be faster, the next lap the other, so that gap is staying even, and caution on the raceway, and it is Tom Wetmore that will most likely put the nail in the coffin on his championship hopes.
Trying to see, looks like he might have had some contact there with Kyle Heyer. Out of 4.
Yeah, I think the 15 may have gotten a little tight and washed up the track. We'll try to get it from a different angle, but we've just seen how hard it is tonight. 3 and 4, a lot of drivers just having issues.
Looks like with the 15 losing the nose a little bit in the 42, just the line Wetmore was running there, kind of the later arc.
Now, did Wetmore have more room up top, or did the 15... I think the 42 may have had more room to run a little bit higher, but that would have given him more difficult.
It would have definitely cost him the spot, so Wetmore was just trying to hang on to that spot there.
I think we'll just call it a racing deal.
Heyer lost the nose a little bit, and Wetmore tried to pinch him down on the exit.
That's just, as we said, that's just a nature of this track, how it's configured, how it races, and well, this is gonna pretty much give us a shootout to the end. It's gonna be less than 40 laps to go once we do go at green flag racing, and this is gonna be a very important pit stop. Cannot afford any penalties, and everyone needs to get into their stall nice and smooth. Seems to be the case for everybody, at least in our view right now, and see who does get the race off of pit road. And I've never seen it so many times, Evan, of drivers just almost intentionally just running through their pit stall. But again, Kent Wetherill and Adam de Blasio.
You know why I think they're doing that?
It's either TV time, leading a lap, or I don't have an option C, so please enlighten me.
I think it's because they're wanting to drop to the back, but once it gets to 2 to green, pits close if you do not pit.
So that would give you an EOL, presumably, if you
so they're driving through now, so they don't get a penalty later.
So, hey, I mean, I guess it's kind of a multitude of things. It gives you the TV time, it gives you the lap lead, and it also puts you to the back of the pack. And Adam de Blasio, remember, as we've said a couple times, he is essentially racing with the restrictor plate on here tonight, where he's just trying to stay out of trouble and avoid any incident that may give him issues at Homestead next week, barring how the rules play out in the series. So he has been absolutely no noise in this race tonight, and I don't expect that to change in these remaining 42 laps. So it should be Eisenhower, Nieto, Ward, Schetzler, and Stove Price, your top 5. Jacob Fife, Cody Smith, Don Stevenson, William Dunn, and Guillermo Alvarez. They should be your top 10. And here comes Wetherill and Adam de Blasio, rather, down pit road.
I don't know why they stayed out that last time instead of coming down there, because it's going to put them kind of close on maybe losing a lap here. That's kind of been what they've been doing.
Yeah, so that is the that is one to go. These guys are lining up behind the pace car. And we're going to get going here for about a 40-lap shootout.
Eisenhower still in that must-win situation here. And he's done everything right so far tonight, but all he needs to do is, you know, stay in the lead for another 40 laps or so. But still in the lead there is Eisenhower. Nieto to his outside here through 3 and 4. Waiting for the pace car to pull down onto pit road, and there goes now Eisenhower. When is he going to get us back underway here at ISM? And waiting, there he goes. We're back underway here now. And pretty good jump there for Nieto. He's going to stay ahead of that 97.
Yes, he is, and we'll see how this shakes out as they head through 3 and 4. As they head, excuse me, you can see how much Real World I was watching this weekend. As they head through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway, Ward all the way to the inside of the track, trying to get by that number 24 machine for 3rd place. And that 24 is going to sail all the way up the track, and I think he may sail up too far, so that'll put Ward back into 3rd. But now, on fresh tires, what's going to happen between Eisenhower and Nieto? How aggressive is Nieto going to be for the win, knowing how much Eisenhower needs it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because is this going to be the case where Nieto wants to get up there and take that win away from Eisenhower? Because I think it's going to... Eisenhower is definitely one of the drivers he is going to have to beat to win next week at Homestead. So it's going to be interesting to see how hard he is going to race to try and get by him and keep him out of this next round.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting call. We'll have to see how it plays out, but ultimately it's going to matter of a matter of speed. Does the 22 have enough to stay with the 51? That 51, when he has been up front, he has been pretty much untouchable thus far, so we'll have to watch out for that. As something looks like that is the 47. Remember, Don Stevenson had an issue earlier in the race, lost all that track position on a pit stop back to the 20s, almost half a lap down, but with the cautions has been able to get that track position back. He's in the 6th position, trying to pass the 24, and right behind that, Fife and Dunn duking it out for the 7th spot, with Dunn to the inside, and Fife will try to use that outside to his advantage with Tyler Herr, who is now on the lead lap, right behind them in 9th.
Nieto is going to need to push really hard here, because Stevenson, if he gets up another spot, or if Stevenson passes 2 more cars and gets up to 4th, I believe with Eisenhower, if he does win this race, that would knock out Nieto instead of Stevenson. So Nieto and Stevenson both need to be really aggressive here.
Yes, they do. As this race does come to its waning stages, expect these positions that are bubble spots to really start to turn up in intensity, as these guys really need these positions. Nieto cannot, Dunn needs every point he can get. I don't think in this position he would make it, but at this point, you got to go for every point you need. You never know how the rest of the race could shake out. He's trying to get back by 36.5. I don't think he has it. But a little bit further ahead, it is Don Stevenson still working on that number 24.
Some really hard pass here tonight at ISM. Just with the inside lane, it gets bogged down extremely easily with the car on your outside, just kind of pinching you down. If he's not giving you a ton of room, it's pretty hard to pass here.
Yeah, it is, especially as you said, as the tires age and you start to lose that grip. You need to run those specific lines, especially up top. That is where you can keep that momentum up and stop a lot of drivers from passing you, or indeed try to get to the outside and make the passes up there. All depends how it plays out. And Eric de Blasio is, as we go back in the field, side-by-side battle. That's Cody Smith. You can see Eric de Blasio trying to hold on to a top 10, and Smith trying to take it away, I do believe, but they are door-to-door, and the 11, barring an absolute dramatic change of events, will be knocked out, as he's in the 8th spot in a winner go-home situation. But see, he is clear with that battle right now. And then we'll go back up front and pull up the lap tracker right now. It does show that last time by, Eisenhower was about a 1/10 and a half faster than Nieto. Second fastest on the track does go to the 97, but for all intents and purposes, Eisenhower wants this thing to go green to the end, and he's going to be in the final 4.
Yeah, another 31 laps here, it does look like. And as long as Eisenhower isn't burning his stuff up here, I'd say he wants it to go green.
Yeah, we haven't seen really a significant fall off or any issues with him in the long run. So, and assuming all goes well, he was the only driver, actually last time by, Stevenson, the fastest driver on the track, but he's 2 seconds back, so he's going to have a tough case to be able to get back up there without the help of a caution. And with the laps running out, I don't even know if a caution will help, but impressive run for that 14 though, Evan, although there has been some problems. He's running in 4th, maybe 5th if Stevenson can get by, but very good run, very quick car for the 14 tonight.
Don Stevenson, if he does make this pass for 4th, that could end up knocking out Nieto of that top 4. But still, Price diving it down into turn 1. That's going to allow him to clear for the moment, but here comes Stevenson back with another run down the back straightaway, cutting that dog leg once again. Coming through 3 and 4 now. This is just where it gets really tough to make that pass. Is Stevenson going to lean on him a little bit? Yes, he is, but I think it actually hurt Stevenson.
Yes, it did. Stevenson will fall back, and at this point, Stevenson, he is fine where he is. Actually, I'll ask my statistician, Evan. Stevenson is fine where he is right now, correct?
I don't think so. I think since Nieto has that bonus point for leading a lap, I believe he would be ahead right now. Nieto would be ahead, I believe. So it'll take one more spot for them to tie, I would think.
And Stevenson, as we have been told, is last year's champion in integrity. So if he wants to go back to back, he needs to fight for that spot. He needs to get by that 14.
Did you say Stevenson? That says done.
Oh, done. I can't read. So William,
how did you confuse Dunn and Stevenson?
Because I was looking at a driver, so natively I saw a sentence and I thought about it. So William Dunn, rather, going for the back-to-back championships, but he's going to have a very difficult feat where he is to make that happen. But Don Stevenson, who, as we just said, isn't quite safe where he is, as we so think, needs every point he can get, so he needs to get by this 14. 14 not making it easy on him, as he has no reason to. So
if he does get by the 14, I do believe they would be tied then, and I do not know what the tiebreakers are.
Yeah,
so it'll be very interesting to see how that does end up playing out. Still looks like about 25 laps to go.
I would assume if the tiebreakers are on the real world side of things, it would be best finish in the round, which I think I'd have to cue my statistician to take that information and provide it for us. But Stevenson with a look to the inside of the 14. And nothing there, but Schetzler in the 24 closing in. He may be in a position to get by Stevenson if these guys get to duking at it and use the outside. But looking right behind this is Jacob Fife in the 36 machine, the 7th position. He is closing in on these guys as well. And these are more positions for the 47 to potentially lose, and more points for him to lose.
Well, Corey, the interesting part about the tiebreakers, if it is best finish in round, they have both finished 5th and 3rd in this round.
Well, then I don't know what the next tiebreaker is, because that just doesn't happen. So
I would assume it would be best finish and then second best, but it's the same for both of them.
So that would be, again, this is what we are trying to figure out. This is situations that could happen, but for that to happen, I believe, Evan, you said that he's going to have to get by the 14, but at 47, he has positions right behind him that are eager to pass him. And again, I'll say what I said earlier in a different situation. How nice does the 47 play? Does he, actually, we don't know if he knows all this, because you can't calculate all this behind the scenes unless he has a spotter. So I'm not sure if he knows the importance of this position or if Evan's right. But
I don't even know if I'm right. I'm just kind of guesstimating.
I hope you're right, because this is good drama if it is. If it's
I think I'm right, but we'll see.
Yeah, so how nice does he play? The 14 is just, he's not in contention for anything. He's just here for fun. 47 needs it. How nice do you play?
Well, with how Stevenson is driving right now, I think he knows that this spot is very important. He's being very aggressive right now, driving it deep into these corners. Here he takes another look down the backstretch. Sigurd to go down into 3 and 4 once again. Is he going to lean on him a little bit? Not going to do it, at least right now. Through 3 and 4. And Stevenson sliding out the track. Not going to be able to clear there.
Yeah.
Still Price will hang on to 4th, 4 now.
And up front, it's about 0.8 of a second, so it's going to take something drastic for Eisenhower to lose the lead, but we will focus on it, because remember, Eisenhower doesn't win the race. Eisenhower's not in the playoffs. If he's not in the playoffs for the next round at Miami, then, well, that completely affects who makes it and who doesn't make it. A lot of dynamics at play. And, well, that's the 47 running a lower line, but that's just not enough. He's going to have to try to dive it in, try to get that run on the outside, and so you could hear him shifting there down into 3rd, but didn't work to his advantage there off of 2 and down the back straightaway. If anything, it brought the 24 even closer.
Stevenson right now is just trying anything he can to maybe make a move, get underneath that 14. Be interesting to see if he can do so, as it looks like 24 Schetzler actually closing in, as you were saying, on Stevenson. Stevenson a little loose there entering turn 1, and this is just going to ramp up. 47 has an issue there. Did he miss a shift?
I'm not sure. He may have. Remember, he is shifting, and he did not get off of the corner.
He did not get it into 4th gear there.
Yeah, he didn't get off of 2 at all that time, and that cost him 2 spots. Is that what takes Don Stevenson out of the final 4?
It's definitely not going to help his efforts there, as Taylor and Schetzler are both getting by, and both are on the lead lap. Herr was able to get back on the lead lap here. So Stevenson needs to pass 3 cars now to try and get ahead of that 22 in points.
And that's, of course, if Evan's fantastical mathematical skills are correct, but if they are, that 47, he has the speed definitely to get these 2 spots, but he has to be able to get them. And, well, Tyler, Herr, and Schetzler, do they know how important this is? Do they know that there's a chase driver, playoff driver going for these spots? Are they going to take it easy on him?
Don Stevenson he went 3 wide there through the dog leg, so he really wants to get by this 24 and 19.
Up front, Evan, by the way, gap less than half a second. Nieto is making some ground up. Remember, that is Eisenhower's life that is on the line with this win.
And if Nieto gets by all this drama we've been talking about, well, it doesn't matter.
Eisenhower needs the win.
Why is he running this high?
Is that on purpose? Did he go out of the groove? Is he going for grip? We don't know. But we have a lot to focus on now. I wish I had 2 different screens to focus on both of it at the same time, but that 47 needs to get 3 spots. Stowe Price is pulling away from these guys. Stevenson running a higher groove, trying to get a better line off of 2, and, well, that completely backfired on him. But up front, the gap is staying at about half a second, as here is Herr to the inside of Schetzler, and here comes Don Stevenson trying to fill that gap in. And he's not going to be able to, but we're going to take that opportunity and focus up front. And look at Eisenhower running that. It's the Phoenix equivalent to a Larson line, and it seems to be kind of working, but if he goes a little bit too high, he's going to lose.
He tags that wall. That's really going to hurt his chances.
Yeah, last time by, it was about half a tenth in the favor of the 22. He's not in, as I call it, send it range, but it just seems like they're exchanging laps. I don't think he's gonna get there, but he got this far. Maybe that 51 is starting to fade off. We don't know, but again, how aggressive does the 22 fight for a win? For him, it's just a win, just to have a win. But for the 51, this is his only chance to go for the title next week at Homestead. So how hard does the 22 go by, and if he does get by, what does the 51 do to try to get it back?
Well, Nieto going for this win, he's also trying to lock his spot in the homestead, because right now if Stevenson, if the guys in front of him do have some sort of an issue and he gets by them, that's going to knock Nieto out, so Nieto cannot be too careful here. He's going to need to try and get by him.
47 did get by Schetzler, and Stove Price did lose some ground as Tyler Herr has closed onto his back bumper, and Stevenson is going to try his hardest to gain both of those spots, but look what we have up front now. It's within about a quarter of a second. You're going to see the line difference there. The 22 running right on that yellow line, and the 51 really using that late arc, that higher line, and it's kind of just hit or miss whether it's been working for him. If it works, he gets a bigger lead, but I think that's way too high, but we'll see what the stopwatch says. And it stays at about 0.3 of a second.
It's gonna be, I don't know if Nieto's gonna get there, but he drove it in really deep there in the 3, and Eisenhower got loose.
We don't have to guess at all. That was way too high, and right to the back bumper is Eisenhower. We'll go back a little bit further. Here comes Stove Price losing the spot to Tyler Herr. Tyler Herr has taken that spot, and here comes the 47. How nice does the 47 play versus the 14? Because there's a very good chance the 47 needs that spot of Tyler Herr, and he's going to force the 14 high in the dog leg. What's he going to do in 3?
Stevenson clear for now. If you're going to try and slide up in front of that 14, he will slide up there and kind of block both lanes.
24 and the 14 nearly make contact, so now that's going to put the 47 into a spot where he needs to get by, presumably, if we're correct on our calculations. He shuts the door on the 24, but he may need to get that number 19, and we'll zoom back to the front right now, and looks like the 22 has kind of settled in at about 3.5 tenths off.
So in front of on some lap traffic here, Corey. Can't let Allen roll. That could play into effect a little bit here. I don't know if they will catch them, as I believe there's only about 5 laps to go.
And Jacob Fife, he is getting to the inside of the 14. He remember, he had a buffer, but given how things have played out, that may these points may come into play for Fife. So I'll have to watch that, as there are 5 laps to go, coming to 4 laps to go, and that was a very good 3 and 4 for Nieto. And he did close into about a quarter of a second. Stevenson is not close enough to her right now. He's about 0.4 of a second back.
Going into turns number 3 and 4 now, about a car length and a half in between those two, and they're getting pretty close to this lapper in front of them.
May have washed up a little bit too high, may have been a little too aggressive there in 3 and 4. 3 laps to go. Eisenhower needs the win. Nieto may need the win, but he may be in either way. But again, we'll have to see how that plays out. A significant time gain there by Nieto in 1 and 2. He seems to be much better on that end of the track. We're coming to 2 to go, and this is going to be a battle.
Coming through 3 and 4, getting ready to come to 2 to go with lap cars in front of them. This could get very sketchy here with these two racing for the lead.
Fence on the straightaway.
A little bit of contact there to the outside wall for Eisenhower, and he's way off the track through 1 and 2. That's too high.
That's too high. And hello, Sam Nieto. I want this win. I'm right here. It's gonna take something aggressive from Nieto. I don't think he can do this on pure speed, but this traffic, this is coming to the white flag lap. All the way to the bottom of the track is Nieto. Here we come. White flag in the air.
Eisenhower got loose out of turn 4, gonna take it underneath those lap cars in front of him. Nieto gonna go to the inside as well, about 2.5 car lengths between those top 2, and I don't think Nieto's going to be able to get there.
No, Nieto did not get through 3 and 4 on the penultimate lap very well at all, and that gives Eisenhower that buffer he needs. So through 3 and 4, Caleb Eisenhower, he's going to win, and he's going to be in. Caleb Eisenhower wins, and he will head to Miami.
Looks like Sam Nieto going to come in second, and it should advance to the next round, and Nick Ward in third.
So what a race, and Don Stevenson did not get the spot on Tyler Herr, so we are going to pray that we can get the point standings in the final 4 to you. So before we even do that, before we give you the final results, we're going to take a break and try to figure out what's what, and we'll hopefully have the exciting results for you after. So please stay with us.
Myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it, and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
So cool, yeah. Nate, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm working on the animation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the time model? Nothing?
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
And we're back here at ISM Raceway after a very exciting, and I'll tell you, our brains are frying trying to keep up with those point standings, but I want to thank Evan for doing the best he can. We're waiting for the official update of the points. We don't have them yet, so I can't give you the exact final 4 yet, but what we can give you officially is we owe 2 drivers, Adam de Blasio and with his win Caleb Eisenhower. They are heading through, and we will be waiting for the official word. But while we wait for that, we will start the post-race interviews, and Evan has caught up with 3rd place Sam Nieto.
Nick Ward was in 3rd, actually, Corey.
Oh, well, my standings are screwed up, so carry on.
Well, Nick, you came up with a 3rd place finish here at ISM, and what was it like racing up there around those playoff guys, trying to not interfere with that too much, but still trying to get the win?
Nick, do you got us? Nick Ward, you got a copy with us?
Well, looks like we do not have Nick Ward right now. So I guess we'll move on to the second place finisher now, Sam Nieto.
All right, Sam, it was a hectic race, and I'm sure a stressful race for you, as you were in a position where you weren't necessarily in a concern, but it was close enough for you. So first off, do you have unofficial confirmation on your end of the Final Four? Because we haven't had it yet.
Well, I have confirmation now, Corey.
Oh, do you?
I don't have any confirmation, but I've heard there's a three-way tie.
All right, well, Evan, now that you
The
know.
points are updated now, and right now it looks like the 4 is Jacob Fife, Sam Nieto, Don Stevenson, and Adam DeBlasio. Those are the top 4 in points, and William Dunn.
Caleb won, so he's going to transfer.
Caleb transfers, so actually we're going to have to wait and see, because like Sam said, there is a 3-way tie.
So, well, we'll start this interview from a race side. You had a really good car. You seemed to be battling with the 97 all race, and you closed in and really made a battle of it with Eisenhower at the end. Did you know that it was going to be close, and did that maybe affect how you were going to battle him if you could get a little bit closer to him?
Yeah, it definitely did. We were in Discord together, and Rowden was spotting his post and giving me updates on Don. I think I was asking for an update on Don about every other lap. But that definitely influenced how hard I was going to race Caleb. I wanted to get as close as I could to him if I had to try to pass him. And I kind of gave him a little bit of break. I think with 2 to go, he got to the ball on the front stretch, and I wasn't really in a position to take the spot. And I didn't, even if I was, I thought I was in a good position where it wasn't worth trying to race him there and maybe wreck me or him.
Yeah, that obviously would have been a tough spot, maybe taking 2 drivers out. Well, you thought you were, but assuming based on what we may know that you might be on your way to Homestead, you got to sort out that. What kind of track is Homestead like for you? Do you have confidence going in there?
I love it.
Well, there you go. So,
yeah, it's definitely one that I'm going to go in expecting to win.
yeah, so hopefully you are in that spot where you can go for it and you finish second here. So again, when we get the points, or when you get the points, you'll obviously know. Apparently we don't know exactly yet. So on that level of unknown, anyone you want to give a shout out to for your second place here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Rowden for giving me updates and spotting, doing what he does, and thank Jacob 5 for putting on the lead. You guys doing a good broadcast.
All right, thanks for the word, Sam, and well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you that you are able to get in on that effort.
All right, appreciate it, guys. See you next week.
And Evan Block, as we now confirm, we do have we do have Nick Ward, so we will talk to him.
Well, Nick, we'll try this again here. Well, you come home with 3rd here at ISM after you were up there trying to race those leaders while trying to also not affect the playoffs too much. What was it like up there doing that and also trying to get the win?
I mean, it was interesting. I mean, coming off that win last week at Texas, it was nice to start up towards the front, and I think we had the speed over Nieto all race long, or early in the race. It's just there was a couple times where I scraped the wall once all on my own, and then I tried to follow Caleb downshifting in 3 or into 3rd gear going into turn 1 and washed wide from it and just had a little bit of right side damage. So my only shot was on restarts, being able to hold him off for 10 laps at a time, and even then I couldn't hold Caleb off that long. So really, if we went more than 2 or 3 laps, I was just trying to fight for second, and I beat the right side of the car up too bad. I mean, it was just trying to luck out and maybe see if they wrecked each other. They pulled the right strategy. I kept beating them off pit road all race long until that final stop where it looked like Nieto backed off of Eisenhower's bumper just long enough for them to have plenty of a gap coming off of pit road. So props to them. They're able to make it work and go up there and fight for the win between themselves to advance.
Yeah, you were talking about shifting a little bit there. Were you doing that for much of the race, or were you just staying in 4th?
For probably the first 100+ laps, I mean, I tried it once, and that was the one time that I got up into the wall off of turn 2. I felt like I was faster without shifting, but after I had a little bit of damage from touching that wall, I started shifting because the thing that I noticed was the place that those guys were beating me was corner exit, and especially when Caleb was on my outside, I could hear him downshift into third gear. So I figured I would try it, see what I could get out of it, and I didn't like it. It made the car rotate just a little bit better, and it gave us a little bit more speed off the corner, but I was doing everything I could to keep up with those guys and maybe give myself a fighting shot if I was able to run them back down or they had some contact and could have possibly slipped by there.
Yeah, well, next week you're not going to be racing for a championship at Homestead, but do you think you'll have a shot at being a playoff spoiler once again like you were at Texas and going out there and get another win?
I think Homestead's probably a good shot. I mean, it's one of my better tracks. Hopefully I can make it out there, especially, like you said, just coming off that win at Texas and third place here. It's been the best run I've had with these guys in quite a long time, so hopefully we can keep that momentum up, roll into Homestead, steal the spotlight by taking the win out there from the championship guys, and roll on to next year and maybe actually fight for the championship.
All right, well, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out to after your third place finish?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing these races out to us and broadcasting everything. Jacob and all the admin teams for everything they do with integrity, and Lockdown for helping keep me up to speed with everything. And just like to thank all the guys out here in the league. Make it so much fun and enjoyable, and congrats to Caleb.
All right, thanks for talking with us, and good luck next week at Homestead.
Yep, thanks.
And before we get to our winner, we do have official confirmation on the final four for Homestead. It is Adam DeLazio on his win from Martinsville, Caleb Eisenhower from his win here tonight. Jacob Fife and Sam Nieto are the two drivers that pointed their way in, and there was a three-way tie between Fife, Nieto, and Stevenson, so it had to be done via the tiebreakers.
That's just how it plays out sometimes. I don't think I've ever seen that big of a tie, but that's how the playoffs do structure out. But do want to bring our winner into the booth, and I'll have a quick chat with him. All right, Caleb, I mean, I don't know how stressful it was for you behind the driver's seat, but I'd have to imagine it was very much so. You needed the win, and you had that 22 closing in on you, and he was right there. He actually tied, so that was an important spot, and it seemed like you lost the car there at the end, and it really made the battle with you and him.
Yeah, I have no idea how I won that race. Early in the race when I was leading, I kind of just lost concentration and tracked out too far off too and smacked the wall and gave me about 30 seconds of damage, and I was literally probably about to quit because I thought I was done for. And so I went in and got it fixed, came back out in the back and made my way back up to fourth. Until another caution came out, and then it was on from there, and I just tried my best to get back to the lead and then kind of save when I got to the lead, and it just kind of all worked out.
Yeah, so it seemed like we had a lot of cautions in the beginning. It did play out at the end, and obviously we saw Nieto close in on you at the end. What kind of mindset did you have going in? Did you know it was going to be all for broke, or did you think maybe there was any chance at all you could point your way in?
No, as soon as what happened last week did, I knew it was going to be win or you're in, or if you don't win, you're not in here. And it came at a perfect time because Phoenix is one of my favorite tracks, and I feel like I've let a couple of races here slip away and that I should have won, and so it's finally nice to have breaks go my way and able to get the win. I got to thank Matt Busa for mentoring the crap out of me and giving me tips here. He's really good here, and Dan was coming. I started turning it on there with that 10 to go and started shifting. I mean, I was shifting the whole run, but I started really arcing in and trying to get a straight exit off, and I killed my right rear with about 5 to go, and I was just hanging on those last 5 laps.
So now the most important question of all is how good are you at Homestead, and what kind of practice are you going to have to put in for that race next week?
I mean, old build, I'd be ecstatic. Homestead was, I love racing Homestead. It's a perfect track for, a championship weekend. But with this new build and the way a mile and a half's have gone, if it's not Kansas or Kentucky, I've really struggled with the mile and a half, so I'm going to have to figure it out. I think Sam's going to be the one to beat next week, to be honest. Homestead's one of his best tracks, and kind of upset that he made it, but at the same time, he's a good friend of mine, so I was kind of glad he did. So I'm just glad to to the Final Four and give myself a chance next week.
All right, Caleb, congrats on the win. It was very clutch to pull off a must-win, and you pulled it off. You got it, and, well, we'll be watching you next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So that is the post-race show. We're going to wrap up coverage here with our sponsor shout-outs here on PTR TV. Quick shout-out to Air Movement and Fabrications, Krutz Custom Graphics. Our overlays provided by iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. And again, want to thank everyone for tuning in as we are attempting to revitalize PTR TV. You'll see our finale next week on the Integrity Racing League right here on PTR TV, as well as you can tell my voice is shot after that race, as well as the American Sim Racing Series and their finale tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. Signing out of the booth is Corey Silva and Evan Black. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.